Smell everybody, I'm Cantonese Cats. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Saturday afternoon, evening live stream. I just wanted to thank you for your support. I got a few requests here, a couple of them actually from X, from my subscribers, paid subscribers, and also a couple here already on the channel here. So I'm going to try to go through a little bit more of a broad appeal to talk a little bit more about the big stocks like PLTR Tesla, those kinds of things. If you're interested in about my macro thoughts, I already kind of got them out of the way. I already made a video, almost like a reactionary video on Tom Lee, as well as kind of going through charts, what I think about macro, global liquidity, um, indexes, risk on, risk off. If you want to kind of get like a general idea in terms of what my thoughts are in the market and macro things like that, please feel free to check that video that was just released about like an hour and a half ago. Before I finally took a shower, before I made tea for myself, I'm getting ready for a live stream here. Let's dive right into it. Welcome everybody. Welcome Ethan. Welcome Low Gains as always. First of all, because I don't have to talk about the indexes anymore, I'm just going to go right into Palantir. Because there are a lot of mixed feelings I'm getting. Like, for example, when I'm reading Income Sharks, which is a very great chartist, by the way, on X, he is saying that, the gap is going to close here on the daily chart here in the 80s because nobody is expecting it. And I'm reading through X, and I'm like, everybody's expecting that. Like, what the heck are you talking about, man? Everybody's eyeing this gap. Everybody's calling gap close, and a lot of people are actually very scared to buy right here. I made a poll from last night, and was basically looking and asking, like, hey, what are you going to do with Palantir? Are you going to buy? Are you going to sell? And I keep on getting comments like, oh, I'm just gonna sell more on Monday. That's what I hear a lot about. You do have on the 2-hour chart a little bit of a buy order here. Every single time when you buy order, it didn't end up filling the gap down underneath below, right? Every time you have a buy order, it never really end up getting hit here, actually, right? So I don't know whether or not this is going to come down and fill the gap. It could very well do that. I'm not here to tell you that it couldn't, because it's been a parabolic bull trend and it can do whatever it wants to do. I already mentioned to you that I think any 20-30% in any given week is possible, right? This week has gone down. Actually, if you count from like a wick above and a wick below, it's really fluctuated about like 20% up and down, right? It's just been an absolutely crazy ride. Is this expected? Yeah, I think it's expected. What do you have right now? Ruh-roh, you got a little bit of a bearish engulfing candle on high volume, right? Doesn't mean that next week it's going to end up going down further. Maybe. It's possible, right? When was the last time I saw a bearish engulfing candle that didn't work out well over here? I don't think it's going to end up shooting up like that, and the volume also wasn't that high, so that was a little bit of a suspect right there, right? But what was the last time before that I saw a high volume bearish engulfing candle right there? In May 2024. You don't always look at a bearish engulfing candle on high volume and necessarily think that it's going to be like plummeting from there, right? I don't know. I don't have a magic ball. All I can tell is on the monthly. All I can really say is that on the monthly, it's been a pretty parabolic bull trend. And I'm looking at the Bollinger Band here, going to the upside and going to the downside. It continues to expand to the downside, right? And if you're looking at Danny's chart, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, because I don't care. This is like free public info. If you want to look on MCDX Plus, you can see that on February, you actually can't really tell. There's like no retail at all. It's all whales. And whenever stocks have like greater than 90% whales, the momentum can keep going, right? Combined with the Bollinger Band expansion, this thing can keep going. It's just simply way overextended and needed to cool down. That's basically what I think. It's a little bit of far away from the Tengen Kishin. Like, it was in the 120s, right? Tengen Kishin's down here in the 72s. So a little bit of discrepancy. Like, it's just simply a little bit unsustainable. It's just kind of the Bollinger Band is pulling it down, basically. Do I think that there's going to be some further bullish continuation? Yes, I do. If you're looking at why price got rejected where it is at right now, because it's trying to go way too far, way too fast, it's pushing through 1.414, which is a pretty important resistance level. The 1.414 log fib is a pretty important resistance level here. So I don't expect it to just immediately just kind of push through. I actually do expect a little bit of crazy pullback anywhere from like 20 to 30% anytime is entirely plausible. Because even for a big giant parabolic bull trend, like the one that we've experienced in 2015, 2017 for Bitcoin, which look very, very similar in terms of morphology, in terms of what this bull market is going. And if you look at the FIT levels, you can see that the 1.4 and 4 is also a very, very hard and tough level for it to get through, right? So if it has a hard time getting through 1.4 and 4, it doesn't mean that it's not going to. No, it could still go up. The last cycle for not last cycle, but the 2015 2017 bull market, it did end up getting rejected at the 1.4 and 4 twice, and it did end up coming back down and back tested 1.236, right? Is there a possibility where you can come back and back test the 1.236 around $72.63, close that gap that we're talking about before going higher? Absolutely. There's always that possibility, right? But does that really end the bull trend? No, it doesn't, because the bull trend continued to expand to the downside during the entire time, right? This is a very, very parabolic bull trend. Even like it's been up over like 1,000%. Going down 20, 30% is not going to disrupt the bull trend. And if you're saying, well, you know, why in a stock and just kind of suffer through like 30% going down, well, I'm going to tell you, if you think you can time it better, go for it. I think the key thing is I don't want to lose sleep at night, worry about this. I just want to look at a trend. I just want to follow it. I just want to ride it because I'm lazy, emotionally and trading wise. I'm just lazy. So that's kind of what I do, right? Yes. I just want that. Those are really my quick thoughts here for Palantir. Like, if you want to look at other indicators, I can pull up a few things here, but none of these are necessarily going to end up holding. They're all just like speculative. Like, for example, I put up Ichimoku Cloud. You can see that it's kind of holding the Tenkan over here, the blue line. Can it go down further? Yes, it can. You can go all the way down to the kitchen around $77.36. It can, right? It did break out over the zone over here, then backtest that zone over here. Does it have to backtest the zone? No, not necessary, because you see how it broke about the previous all-time high over here. It never really backtested the 45 range. Like, it never did that. It just went up making another high, right? Are we a little bit tired? Do we need to kind of cool down here a little bit? Yeah, absolutely, because you have some bearish divergence here that's building up, right? You can see how it was going up in bearish divergence. So it just simply need to cool down. This move over to this week, cool down the RSI from 80s down to the 60s. Right? And what's happening right now? Well, during the entire time, you look at price from went from like 40 over to 100, and RSI has basically just gone nowhere, right? This is an RSI reset that is much necessary before any potential X move up. Doesn't mean that RSI could potentially cool down to like the 50s if it can potentially come down close to gap before going up higher. All of these are entirely a possible scenario. Do they have to play out? Not necessarily, right? If you look at the daily chart, where are we at right now? We look at the daily chart where we're at right now. We're at the 20-day moving average, right? We're at the 20-day moving average. If you also just look at the trend here, it's a full bull trend. It's the 20-day moving average above the 50-day moving average, above the 100-day moving average, above the 200-day moving average. The last time when we really plummeted back here around August 2024 with that yen carry trade, touched the 200-day moving average perfectly, just bounced, right? Ever since it bounced, sometimes it finds 50 and bounce off of it. Sometimes it finds 20 and bounce off of it. Sometimes it overshoots it. Sometimes it's just fine right there at the 20 and just bounce, right? So usually on a parabolic bull trend, it bounces off the 20 and 50-day and it just keeps going up. Can it go all the way down to the 50-day? Sure it can. Can it go down to the 80s and close the gap? Sure it can. But I just, a lot of people are calling for gap close, so I don't know. When I don't know, I do nothing, right? When I don't know, I do nothing because I still see this being a higher time frame trend going up. I'm not a trader. If you want to do short-term options, I'm not able to tell you which direction it's going to go. I don't care to know. Do you have a bearish engulfing candle? Yeah, you do, right? But does it mean that price is going to end up plummeting from here because you have a bearish engulfing candle? No, especially since it's on low volume. So those are my quick thoughts on Palantir. How can I see Jasmine and small caps performing in upcoming months of altcoin? I'm going to talk about crypto later on. I'm going to add Jasmine here to my list. I usually talk about crypto and Bitcoin stuff like that on the second half of the live stream. I do have a few chart requests I do want to go through. I do want to talk about the Max 7 first, but now I'm talking about Palantir. Let's take a look at another stock here called Lockheed Martin, which is requested by Rachel. What is it? What is going on right now with Lockheed Martin? Now you do hear about this Pentagon cutting 7 or 8% of the budgets over the next coming years, and that news actually ended up having Lockheed Martin closing the week green here. So that to me, I don't think that's necessarily like a reason as to why Palantir has dropped. I think it just simply got overextended. It got rejected on 1.4 and 4 because it went way too far, way too fast. On bearish diversions, it just needed to kind of cool down here. Hi, Jules. Hi, welcome everybody to the live stream. Today, I haven't done this for about 2 weeks because last week I was, let's just say I was busy. But I made a bunch of videos anyway. I think I probably like over flooded y'all with info. Anyway, question is number one, when you have a downtrend like this, let's look at a higher time frame. Has Lockheed Martin bottomed? I can't say that it has because I just when I try to catch a little bit of falling knife here. I mean, granted, it's not really like a falling knife because it's still a little bit of higher low compared to that. But it does look like it's falling knife straight for 5 months, right? When I try to catch a falling knife, I try to do a few things. Number one is I try to see if it can at least touch the low Bollinger Band here on the monthly, right? Whenever it usually is, when it breaks down underneath the 20-month, it usually gravitates down to low Bollinger Band, right? Here it breaks down, low Bollinger Band. Here it breaks down, low Bollinger Band, right? Get close to it anyway. Breaks down, low Bollinger Band. Breaks down, got close to low Bollinger Band. Breaks down, get close to low Bollinger Band. Do I want to buy Lockheed Martin right here? Probably not. Does it mean that it's not going to find support here and go up higher? It's possible, right? Look at the Ichimoku cloud. Why is it possible? Because it just bounced right off the monthly Ichimoku cloud. Again, the other bounces at the low Bollinger Band also bounce off the Ichimoku cloud, right? So is it the Ichimoku cloud or is it the low Bollinger Band? I don't know. Do you want to buy it right off of the when around a bounce of the Ichimoku cloud on the monthly? Maybe that's a pretty decent area to buy, but I still can't guarantee you that the stock has bottomed, right? If I look at the weekly, even if I look at the weekly, I cannot guarantee you that because I'm not really seeing any bullish divergence even on the weekly time frame. It could potentially make another leg lower. This is just an inside candle here on low volume. It favors further bearish continuation. Hopefully the cloud holds, but I would like to see a little bit more confirmation. The other confirmation, in addition to Bollinger Band touch on the lower side, in addition to bullish divergence, which I'm not really picking up here. I guess you can say maybe some relative, how do you say that? Hidden bullish divergence because price did end up going up and RSI ended up going down. That's a little bit of hidden bullish divergence, but it's just not as powerful as like the regular bullish divergence where price goes down and RSI goes up. So am I willing to buy here? Probably not, because I'm not seeing enough confirmation. Doesn't mean that it hasn't bottomed. It can still have bottomed. I'm also not really seeing that capitulation volume quite just yet. It just seems like nobody wants to buy this thing. So the sell program continues on relatively pathetic volume. So I don't know what to really make of this. Probably gonna stay away, man. Probably gonna stay away. All right, another one that also was asked by Rachel here as well was the defense tech ETF. I'm going to take a sip of water here just a second. And I'm going to add a couple of chart requests here. One is AMO, the other one is Dual and ASTS. Let me go ahead and add those. Hopefully I remember. If I don't remember, please remind me. This is the Global X Defense Tech ETF. It has been around for about 1.5 years. It's just been going up on a straight line. These things are very, very difficult to chart here. So let me see what I can do here. You're not going to get anything from the monthly Ichimoku cloud. You're not going to get anything from the Bollinger Band here on the monthly. You're just not going to get much from it. If I just simply put out the RSI here real quick, do I get a little bit of bearish divergence? You can see right off the bat. It's going on bearish divergence. So I think this thing is a little bit tired. At some point, it's probably going to end up forming a little bit around the top and needs some kind of correction. So I probably won't enter in something like this when I'm seeing some overheated RSI here with some bearish diversions as it goes up. It just looks a little bit tired to me. You look at a weekly here. I'm going to put up the weekly. I'm going to put up the RSI here. And it's going to confirm my suspicion that it's continuing to kind of go up here on bearish divergence. It could potentially break, I suppose it could potentially break this like trend line. Maybe it might have already broken it through this trend line, whatever. But to me, I think that it's still a little bit of a tiredness here that I see. And that's probably why price have a hard time kind of going higher. I can't even draw any like fib level here, but I'll probably end up staying away from this. Next up is the big one that I want to really kind of get out of the way is Tesla. I really want to get out of the way because it's something that is inevitably going to get asked, and a lot of people get really bitter about it whenever price just kind of drops and make a little bit of a bleep over here over time. And this is like nothing. It's just made a higher high here. It's trying to make a higher low. Where's the higher low going to be? I don't know. Nobody knows. Some people are getting extremely bitter about it. Could it come back all the way back test the arc over here around the low 300s? I think it's entirely possible based on market symmetry, right? Rejection here, breakthrough, back test. That's not the end of the world. Does it have to? No, not necessarily, because before it does that, it does have some other support levels here below, because you are able to bounce right off of the monthly tank in the blue line over here, which generally is a pretty decent support level for any bull market. Things like to bounce off the monthly tank and then just keep going higher. So it doesn't necessarily have to go down lower. If it goes down lower, can it go down to like 300 and touch the Kijun, the red line down below? Certainly, right? But does it mean that the bull trend is over? No, because you've had a lot of breakdowns here during COVID, but that didn't really stop the trend. It just kept on going up a lot higher after that. So we could very well still be at the beginning of something